morning. Michael Anderson, Chief Clerk, Voter Registration.
Morning.
What I'm here for today is to, a little tricky, get the can't say that word.
Preliminary.
Thank you. Approval for the 2012 general election ballot. As you probably know, we have not received certification from the Department of State for the candidates for this ballot due to a pending lawsuit dealing with the Green Party candidates. What I would like to do today, though, is ask the board to give approval on the ballot specimens that I have sent to you. That this is basically the setup that we will use, pending certification from the Department of State, giving me the leeway then to just make whatever change I have to make based on the certification and or court ruling from the state Supreme Court on that Green Party candidate question. So today basically I'm asking for your approval and then having the ability to make the change based on the certification. And then answer any questions you may have.
All right, I'm assuming that the board members have had an opportunity to review the ballots that Michael sent out to us. So with that in mind, do I have a motion to approve these pending anything that comes down from the courts?
I'll make a motion to approve the ballots. They look very nice. They're all on one side. I like that. And I don't know, did you lay these out, Michael?
Yes, I did.
Job well done.
Thank you.
Is that all part of the motion?
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
Yes, you do.
Is there any discussion about the ballots?
I just wanted to ask about the Green Party.
What's our issue?
Might be resolved, Michael?
So it's the Democratic Party. My understanding is it's a Democratic Party lawsuit, I guess, to have the Green Party candidates for president, vice president removed. We are told that hopefully will be resolved soon. We're still on task and telling people end of the month, very latest the first week in October is when we hope the ballots will be mailed. And so that's really all we know at this point. We're just kind of waiting. But I know there is a stay in place that the department cannot certify the ballots until that is heard by the state Supreme Court.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Bill.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. We can't get too much information. I mean, it's actually very confusing, but I did see that we weren't actually able to totally approve the ballot and have them printed based on this stay. So with that said, all those in favor
I do have a
of
question,
approving-
Commissioner.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Yes.
all right. I'm curious, Michael, who proofs the Spanish? I mean, I'm not fluent in Spanish. Are you?
I am not. No, so basically we had Luz do all of the checking from the primary, and we're obviously able to use the same, most of everything stayed the same. Anything new that's on the ballot actually was provided to us by the Department of State. They had given us the Spanish that should be actually on. So,
Okay.
So it's a combination. So county level, and then also provided by the state, but that all has been checked. And just kind of, I guess maybe before you vote, just to let you know, we have to proceed forward as far as testing, and that's what we are doing. Since we are using a new printer for these mail-in and absentee ballots, we are giving them proofs. We're having them print these tests and proofs so we can make sure as a new printer it works on our machines. And then obviously before anything goes out as far as being printed, we have to wait for that certification and obviously board approval.
All right, we ready for the question?
Yes, sir.
All right. All those in favor of approving the ballots as presented indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ballots are approved. Anything else, Michael?
Yeah, just a couple of things for the board that I think is important. We touched base on it a little earlier, but there's a lot of confusion because of third-party mailings and people receiving multiple applications. Some people think those are ballots. I assure you, no ballots have been sent. No one is getting duplicate ballots. What you are getting duplicates of are applications. And so what we're letting people know is if you have filled out an application and you do get another one in the mail from one of these third parties, don't do it again. You have your first one. So be patient. You don't have your ballot yet because you can't send it to you yet. That's a little bit of confusion. So I think that's important for people to know.
On that,
yes.
Michael, quickly, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind a question I made.
That's fine.
Or a comment. Do you have a rough estimate of when ballots will go out? Because that will start to stem that a bit. I'm sure when people are thinking, I didn't get my ballots, I'm going to just keep on filling these out until I get a ballot. About when do you think people will start seeing them in their mailboxes, the actual ballots?
Yeah, so we've been telling people all along end of September, early October. If I had to give you my best guess, Jamie, right now, I would tell you the 28th of September. But unfortunately, I don't know. We're really just waiting on that ruling from the state Supreme Court, and they know that it's being held up because of that. But it's going to be when they decide, and that's where we are because there is a stay on that certification, and I won't send ballots out without it. So, but the 28th is what we're hoping for at this point, and that's all I really can say at this point as far as our best estimate.
Michael, did you want to mention the difference in the South Anvil ballot?
Yes, thank you. So South Anvil does have a liquor referendum. That is the only of the 60 precincts that does have that referendum. There is a plain English statement that will go out in every mail-in and absentee ballot that explains that question. That was done by our solicitor, Dave Warner, and it will also be posted at all of the polling place in South Anvil, which is the chapel there now in South Anvil, Fontana Chapel. So, and I will post that also on the website. And once the ballots are actually approved and certified, I will put all the ballots on the website. I just don't want to put them on there until I have that certification because I don't want to have it changed and people be confused because of that. But yes, that is the difference, and thank you, Commissioner, for pointing that out. I did have a couple other points, if you don't mind, real quick. So one of the other things that we think is very important for people to start considering right now is if you want to vote by mail or if you want to vote by person. And it's more important that if you decide that you want to vote in person, that you understand, or vote by mail, that you understand that really once you make that choice, it's really what you should be sticking with. Because we're going to be very, very difficult for us to try to give you more. Let me start this again. I'm going to be scrutinizing requests for more than one ballot. Once you receive a ballot, that's the ballot we want you to vote on. Yes, we understand there's circumstances in place that would require possibly to have a ballot reissued, and we'll deal with those on a one-on-one basis as they occur. But what I don't want to see happen is somebody just decide, well, I don't know what's going to happen, so maybe I'll get it, but then I'll just decide to go vote in person. That's what we want to avoid, because you're going to cause more chaos at the polls if you decide to do that. So we really want people we're stressing that you want to make that decision, and that's the way you want to vote. I had a little saying going in the primary, I'm not going to say it, Jamie knows what I'm talking about, but once you make that decision, you want to stick with that decision, is basically the gist. And at this point, it's not a big deal if you're right now set to vote in person and then decide to do it, that's fine. But it's more of just trying to use this as a backup and then saying, oh, wait, I really do want to go vote for polls. That's what's going to cause more problems at the polling location, because then we're talking about voiding ballots, then we're talking about provisional ballots, and we do have the option here to, if you get a mail-in ballot, to bring your ballot here. We are going to have a drop-off box here at the back of the building that is only available from 8:30 to roughly around 4, Monday through Friday when the building is open. The sheriff deputies monitor that lockbox. it will be just for our ballots. The treasurer's office is getting their own box. Only my staff, probably just two of us, will really be ones that will be going and getting those ballots out of there. We're going to have very strict restrictions in place for that. Those ballots get locked in our vault. We take security very seriously, so I just want to kind of stress that. I know we've talked about it before, but I think it's important for people to understand that one of the big things with this election is we don't want multiple ballots out there. And if you do receive a ballot in the mail, that's exactly the same ballot that you would get at the polling location. There is no difference. It's just the method of how you do it. So I think that's important. October 19th is the registration deadline to register to vote or make changes. October 27th is the deadline at this point to apply for a mail-in or an absentee ballot. I will tell you, we are encouraging people not to wait to the 27th. If you're going to do it by the 20th. It's just going to take 2 weeks for us to process, send you your ballot, and be able for you to receive it and get it back to us by the deadline to have it here, which is 8 o'clock November 3rd. So that's what we're encouraging people to do. You want 2 weeks. Don't wait to the 27th, because if we don't get your application until the 27th and we process it and mail you a ballot, I guarantee you, if you want it to count, you're going to have to hand deliver it here at the building, because there's not going to be enough time for you to mail it back to us if you wait to the 7 days. Okay, I think that's all I have. I know that's a lot. Of course, election day is Tuesday, November 3rd. I will be presenting some polling place changes to you as soon as we can get those solidified. There are two at this point that we do need to lock down, and we're still working on 7th Ward and Jackson East. But I think that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
I'd just like to reemphasize that with all the words, Michael, you covered an awful lot, but people may not take their mail-in ballots to the townships, boroughs, or the city. They must come to your office or that drop-off box in the back of the courthouse.
Yes, very good point. In the primary, we had a couple ballots, believe it or not, that were put in like book return slots at township buildings. We are not doing any other drop-off boxes except here. And the main reason for that is security. Those have to be secured, have to be monitored, and I just don't believe that we can safely assure people that ballots are dropped at any other location except for here are going to be able to be done safely and securely, and that's why I've never presented or asked for any other drop-off boxes. You have the ability to mail them. Postage will be paid for any ballot that you return. That is something the state is covering for everybody in this election. So mail it, and I have complete confidence in the mail. Just don't wait till the last minute. That's what they're telling us. Don't wait till the last minute to mail it and expect it to be here by a certain date. It takes 4 days, 3 days, 4 days. So don't wait till the last minute. If you want to put it in a drop-off box, bring it here. We will have a drop-off box here. And that is your choice if you want.
Commissioner, I have one more question, Chairman.
Sure.
Our clarification, as it stands now, Michael, they must be not postmarked by election day. They must be in your office or in that mailed in. I'm talking about the mailed back ballots. They have to be mailed in time to get to you by that date, not postmarked by that date. So as it stands now, that's what we have to.
Correct. Thank you for clarifying that, Commissioner. Yes, there's been a lot of talk about things that the governor would like to see happen, things the election directors would like to see happening. But yes, at this point, we have to have them by 8 o'clock on election day. That is, and it has to be here. Anything received after that, postmarks do not matter. They will not count. So don't wait. And one of the big things we tell people is as soon as you get your ballot, if you know how you want to vote, you don't have to hold it. Vote it. Send it in. That's going to be the best way for us to process, and we're working on making sure that we get those in and received so that those notifications that people can sign up for through votespa.com, as soon as we mark it that we received, then you can be assured that we have it and it will be counted. So yes, very good point. Thank you, Commissioner.
And I think with prepaid postage, there are no postmarks, so obviously that would be another issue. So want to make sure that folks know that it doesn't matter when it's mailed, as long as it gets to your office by election day, or hand deliver it to the voter office or to the lockbox. Yes.
Commissioner Ames, Laura LeBeau has her hand up.
All right, Laura, you have a question? Laura,
Yes, hi, thank you.
good morning.
Good morning, all. Thank you for letting me ask this question. Michael, I was curious, at the primary election, my husband and I both voted with the no excuse mail-in ballot. And we received an email message that the ballot had been received by your office, and that was very comforting and assuring. Is that a courtesy that you did, or is that a requirement of voter registration to do that for folks?
No, great question, Laura. So it is not us at all. It is the Department of State, and it is their notification system. And you can go to votespa.com. And if you did not sign up when you, let's say if you did an online application, there was a place for you to enter your email to get notified, which would notify you for everything in the process, as far as when we mailed you your ballot, that we received your ballot, and that your vote was counted. But if you did not do it that method and you're not sure, you can work votespa.com under mail-in ballots, and you can actually enter an email address to be given those notifications, and those all come from the Department of State. So as much as I would love to take credit, Laura, for that, I cannot. But I do think it's a great method to be able to do that and to give the voters reassurance that we have indeed received your ballot. But they have to be a little patient with that too, because if you drop it off, don't expect you're going to get that email that night, or probably even that next day, because there's some processing that we have to do to scan them in and as you know, check the ballot in the ballot envelopes with signatures and such on security. So with everything, we ask for their patience. But yes, if you do that, we will scan it in, and when we do that, that triggers a notification that's going to receive.
And just one other thing, has there been any resolution as to whether your office personnel can begin processing received mail-in ballots ahead of the close of polls on election day, or does all of that processing begin at 8:01 p.m. on election day?
So two parts really to that question. So Act 12 of this year, which actually moved the election date, part of that was it moved the canvassing time frame from 8 p.m. election day to 7 a.m. election day. That's what we still have to have right now, is that we cannot touch those ballots or canvass them or open them until 7 o'clock on election day. There has been a lot of talk and a lot of push to try to get that moved up. The governor's asked for 21 days. I can tell you some election directors have asked for at least 3 days. 3 days would be perfect for us. But that is all pending, the General Assembly and the governor and anything like that passing. Right now, we're at 7 o'clock election day. I've been in a wait and see with the board on my recommendation, because trying to see if anything does pass, because then we have to make the determination if we're going to if nothing does, we have to bring other people besides my staff in to help open ballots, because as you know, Laura, we are dealing with election day issues here on election day, and my staff wouldn't be available to open them, so it would have to be a whole other set of people to try to be able to do that. And as you know, in the primary, we didn't even start until Wednesday. And I know, I want to know who wins on election night. And so that's why there's the push, and why we want to try to get results. I want to know who wins on election night. And so that's why there's the push, and why we want to try to get results out to people as much as possible, and why we're encouraging people to get their ballots, mail-in ballots, in as soon as possible, because the more we have, it's going to would be available.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Hey, and Laura,
Thank-
while I have you on, if you don't mind, reach out to me, email me if you have it. I'd like to have a discussion with you. I couldn't find an email for you. Everything I have is for your predecessor. So if you wouldn't mind reaching out to me at some point or calling me, that would be great. Okay?
All right, very good. I
Thank
will
you.
do that.
Thank you, Laura. All right, anything else, Michael?
There's a lot of
Any-
information. Sorry. If anyone has any questions, feel free to contact our office. They can email me. We're here to answer whatever questions, trying to be as transparent as possible with this. I know this is a very important election. People have very strong feelings both ways on this. Just rest assured, we're working very long hours trying to get everything processed. We've made tremendous strides this week alone in getting caught up, but we're still going through especially online applications. So if you've done an online application and you're thinking, well, I haven't gotten anything, I'm going to do it again. Don't do it again because we're getting lots of duplicates. I think we're up to the 26th of August right now on that. So, but we're hitting that pretty hard this week. So just be patient. We're getting to them all. The goal is to get as many of those done and processed before the ballots go out by the end of this month. That's my last thing, and thank you for all of your support. Definitely appreciate it.
Excuse me, Chairman,
Yes.
make that your second last thing, Michael. How about make your last thing the phone number? You want people to call, give the phone number. Sometimes our menu is difficult for people to follow, so please do that.
Absolutely. So our number is 717-228-4428. That is the voter registration number, and we're here 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. You can also email at voter@lebcnty.org. I do check that every day, and I can answer any questions, or manderson@lebcnty.org to answer any questions anybody has.
All right, any other questions? Thank you, Michael. We all know good election is very important to all of us. And here in Lebanon County, I think we all work very hard to make sure that happens. And I especially want to thank you and your staff, Michael, for working so hard to secure the elections here in Lebanon County. With that said, do I have a
Thank you.
motion to adjourn the Board of Elections?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All right, thank you, and we're adjourned.